We're in a brief series together on the question of theism versus atheism. Which one makes better sense? Okay, so full disclosure, I'm a committed theist. And one of the reasons I am a committed theist is because I am absolutely convinced that it is a far superior position, logically, than is atheism. So quickly by review, last time we talked about the implications of the finite universe. Interestingly, today, science and scripture concur together on the fact that the universe began. At some point in the distant past, everything there is came into existence. That's an important point of agreement. We also considered the logical syllogism of the Kalam cosmological argument. And in this argument, which is pretty succinct and clear, we hear that everything that begins to exist has a cause. Well, that's true to everything we know. That's what we observe everywhere we look. Everything that begins to exist has a cause. The universe began to exist. Therefore, the logical conclusion is the universe had a cause. But the naturalists argue that the only thing that is real is the physical realm, the universe and the physical world. There's nothing else. And so by abstentia, they're sort of left saying it just happened. It appeared out of nothing, by no causal agent, which is an absurdity. They offer no coherent explanation for why everything exists. Thus, to my mind, naturalism is defeated before it even begins, because that is one serious omission. No answer for why everything exists. It makes far better sense, logically and rationally, to conclude that something or someone created everything there is. We all know that nothing can create anything, far less everything. That's an absurdity. But we also all know that something, an intelligent mind, creates all the time, and that would be a rational explanation for the physical realm because it began. And something outside of it had to be the genesis. It had to generate that existence. And so we see that, well, just getting started, it makes better sense to believe in a creator than in nothing. Furthermore, as we move along and think about the physical world and the physical laws that govern the universe and our world, based on the consequence of the Big Bang, or Genesis 1:1, based upon this creative moment, we can also conclude that this something is very powerful, frighteningly powerful, brilliant to the extreme, and benevolent. This something is for us. Well, what do I mean by this? Well, no one would suppose that the consequence of a massive explosion, the magnitude of which must have been the Big Bang, a massive explosion would result in order, harmony, and tranquility. No one would think that. We would think the reverse. A massive explosion produces chaos and destruction. But in the Big Bang, we find perfect order and harmony within the physical laws that emerge from this created moment. The laws of physics we know today are all fine-tuned in our favor. The Cambridge physicist Brandon Carter was, as far as I know, the first to coin the term the anthropic principle. And by that, he's referring to the fact that all of the laws of physics, as he studied them out and looked at them closely, scrutinizing them, he came to the conclusion that they all intersect at one point. They all intersect in that they all permit, promote, and sustain life on Earth. And that he coined the anthropic principle, that the physical laws of the universe are in favor of human beings, that they are on our side, that they support our existence. And he was very impressed by that. And many others have been as well, as we have moved through time. This precision fine-tuning was so exact in many cases that it was down to 1 part in 100 trillion. That the dials had to be set with such exquisite precision as to be accurate in 1 part of 100 trillion. Wow, now I'll say, that's precise. That's the proverbial bullseye. And then some. You say, like, well, what are you talking about? Well, there's as many as a couple of dozen of such physical laws, the laws of physics, but some of them are like the rate at which hydrogen converts to helium. Very precise. The gravitational constant, the force of gravity, the velocity of our orbit around the sun, even the strength and force related to the Big Bang had to be precise. If any of these things were off, even by a whisker's breadth, life in the universe could not exist. Here's an illustration that I read and I thought was pretty good. I think it helps to picture the point a little bit. Let's talk about the gravitational constant. And let's pretend that we have a ruler. And that ruler can extend across the entire known universe. That's a big ruler. 100 billion light years across. So we're talking trillions upon trillions upon trillions of miles of space and distance. And let's say that the gravitational force that is current, that exists in our universe, is placed in one precise place on this ruler that is trillions and trillions of miles long. It's on this one point. If that setting was moved by even 1 inch to either side, changing the gravitational constant by just a hair's breadth, nothing would exist in the universe. We could not survive. So out of an explosion of significant magnitude, atheists are left to believe that all of these dials, couple of dozen, were set with exacting precision by accident. Well, I'll tell you, that requires some Herculean faith in fiction. And that really is a leap in the dark. There's absolutely nothing scientific about that conclusion. That's a magic wand. It makes far better sense to believe that an intelligent mind, the creator, in calling forth the physical realm, at the same moment also set these dials precisely so in order that we might be able to live and thrive on planet Earth. Because that's what the laws of physics enable us to do. When we talk about theism or atheism, to my mind, theism is just far superior. It's in accord with the way things work. It's in harmony with everything we know about the real world. I have to agree with one brilliant cosmologist who, after looking at all of this, stepped back and concluded, it would appear the universe was expecting us. Indeed, it was. The Creator was continuing to create, and He made us. Next time, we're going to think together about God's magnum opus, human beings. I hope you'll join me then.